in just a second, I will also say that I'm streaming this on my channel. So that's a little confusing for people, but I'll just announce that on occasion so people can be like, what is going on?
It's one of those days. And Cleo, while she's doing that, what's going on with you? What's happening?
And I know, did you guys just hear this whole bunch of talking and stuff out of nowhere?
It was me. It was on my side.
Oh, it's me on my side. I had an open window that anyway, whatever, it's straightened out.
Oh my God, you guys are so connected. I feel a little out of it now. Feel a little left out. All I have is cats. You know.
I did want to say, you know, the 2, 3 times, 4 times we've been on together, and all the stuff that we've been talking about is happening little by little. It's just, I'm just loving it. All this stuff. And Jack Smith, let's just take a moment to praise Jack Smith for all he has done.
Okay, there we go.
You know, and all these new indictments that are going to be coming back out, new things. I didn't even realize that could happen. I thought that once he's out, it's set down, that was it. But no, he can keep adding stuff to the Mar-a-Lago document problem. So very cool.
Yeah, very cool. And with all the stuff, Bedminster and Washington and New York and everything, you're right. I mean, the stuff we've been talking about for probably over the last 6 months, it's happening.
It's really starting to heat up.
Yeah. And I was just looking over my notes from my July astrology videos, which just went up, and I'm looking at the moon and I'm like, oh my God, this new moon really is going to be just a killer. I mean, it's just a lot of big stuff is going to be pivoting around that moon, the new moon on the 17th, mainly because it's hitting a degree that we hit with an eclipse back in 2022. On May 16th, 2022, we had a big eclipse, and it was one of the ones I also did a video about, and I said, this is going to affect a lot of things. But with eclipses, at the time they happen, you may or may not see an event. You may see the setup, like a chess game, right? You may see the setup for the event, or you may see nothing. And then when the planets hit the same degree as the eclipse, boom, that's when the big thing happens. And that's happening on July 17th.
Wow. But tomorrow's a super moon, right? Tomorrow's a super full moon in Capricorn.
That's also a big one. That's also this full moon and there's 2 full moons in August, and they all have very similar lineups because a bunch of planets are retrograde or they're slowing down to be retrograde. So the alignment, the configuration isn't changing much. So it's like, well, what does that mean, universe? And it means pay attention, dummies, because lots of stuff's going to happen.
It feels like it's doubling down on the energy. Like it's doubling whatever that energy was, it's going to double down and then double down again. Like we're not letting you off. We're not letting you guys off. We're going to exact change from you.
Yeah. And this is going to be affecting people personally, but there's so many global things that you can see going on. It's just like, it's a breathtaking time to be looking at astrology. It's just amazing. So Susan, what's happening with you?
Well, my moon is in Capricorn. So tomorrow with that super moon, I don't know, something probably is going to happen to me. I don't know. Okay, cool. So, I'm really excited that I launched this big event in October with 6 other psychics, Connect to Empower, and it's sold out. We do have
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. We do have a waiting list, but it is sold out. But you can learn more if you just want to learn more about it at connecttoempower.com. I'm pretty excited about that. That's a big deal for me. I'm going to be going away from Texas. I'm going to the mountains for the summer because this is basically hell's front door right here. We are in this heat dome that we can't seem to get out from. It's not raining and it's triple-digit heat. And, my guides were lucky. I was lucky enough that they told me to do this months ago. Like I booked this trip maybe even as much as 6 months ago. So they knew what they were talking about.
Good. And are you going to be doing any YouTube?
Oh, I'm going to be working. I'm going to be working. I'm going to be working, but I will be working from the mountains. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
that's really nice.
That seems like fun.
Yeah, sounds really fun.
I don't mind working.
Yeah, I don't mind working either.
I love working. I love it when I can go take a walk in the sun and not burn to death, burn up.
And is it the kind of mountains where you'll have trees or snow, or what kind of mountains is it going to be?
I've never been there, but yeah, I think I'm going to have, I don't know that I'm going to have snow, but I got to tell you at this point, I would welcome it. But it's just going to be, I don't know. I usually go to New Mexico. People know that I usually go to New Mexico, but I'm going to go a little bit further north. There's some mountains up there. And I'm going to go just hang out, just to get out of Texas for a while, get in some nature. We'll see what I get into.
Maybe you'll see some ETs while you're.
I probably will. I probably will.
Cool.
I'm not picking any up. If they're like trying to hitchhike, I got to tell you, I ain't stopping. I ain't stopping.
Yeah, you stick to your guns there, Susan. Don't you bring them home. All right. So this is polyterology, guys. So let's take a look at the questions and see what kind of stuff we got. Let's see. Here's one. Wrong thing. Will the Progressive Court, the government win the New Zealand election? Okay, that's New Zealand. I'm going to go up the top. You guys chat among yourselves. I'm going to find some questions.
Well, I wanted to mention that, I've said that Aileen Canon is going to dismiss this case.
Really?
Yeah. And then when actually it was within this group that I talked about that, and everybody just came unglued, like, oh my God, she can't, no, that's not, it can't be dismissed. Well, now as time goes by, I'm seeing, and also in a show that I saw Susan on, she mentioned that Canon was she saw her as angry. You saw her as angry. And I thought, really, I didn't see that. But then as these more things kept coming up, I'm thinking, oh, no, wait, she is a little bit pissed off because Jack Smith is being so precise and so perfect about how he's presenting all this. It makes it super difficult for her to screw it up. Basically, she's going to have to bank on Trump's lawyers being very crafty also. And who knows, they might be, but I mean, it's going to be really difficult to get around Jack Smith. But I still think that she's going to do whatever she can to keep this away from a jury. Because if it goes to a jury, Trump's going to get nailed. If it doesn't, and if she can kind of counteract this whole thing, then she will go for a dismissal. And, in the long run, it doesn't really matter because this is not the end all on these court cases. And he's got so many more coming up. I don't know if you guys saw on the news or on the internet that he's saying that is her name Fonnie Willis or
yeah
that she is going to drop all charges. I'm like,
oh no!
In what universe are
She's going to drop them on him like several carpet bombs?
Exactly.
She's going to drop them like bombs, yes, but not drop them. No.
Yeah,
But that's nice thinking.
Maybe they meant drop the charges on him and all of his cohorts. Maybe they didn't mean like forget the charges. Maybe
well, I'm glad you brought up the cohorts because yes, all these people now, and we've talked about this before, that there was going to be all these other people drawn into this and getting in trouble, and it's beginning to happen right now, and that's with Jack Smith saying that he's got, what did he say, something at one point, 47 additional either charges or witnesses or something that he was going to be doing with this the document case. But yeah, there's just so many things happening here that Canon is a little bit, she's frustrated a little bit because it's going to be so difficult to get her way around, and she's got to depend on these other attorneys to bring up stuff that she can do that. She just doesn't want to be the one to have Trump be convicted of anything. She just doesn't want that.
That's why I think. What do you ladies think? Do you think that the next batch of charges, because apparently Jack Smith has been meeting with Fani Willis, so they're getting their strategy straight. Who's going to do the next thing and who's going to do what and when? Do you guys feel like the next batch of charges is going to be perhaps going to be tried in New Jersey or in DC? Because that's what I feel like. He's not going to put all his eggs in Eileen Cannon's basket. I mean, that's not going to happen. But I do think that he's taunting her, like you're saying, Cleo. I think he's keeping everything very tight. She doesn't have a lot of room to maneuver.
Right.
And if she crosses one of these lines, she's going to get hit with some sort of ethical judgment from these other courts. These other courts, I have the sense, are watching her. She really can't do too much. But I think that's another reason why he's going to bring another case into another jurisdiction. Do you guys feel New Jersey or do you feel DC?
New Jersey.
Yeah, I kind of get that too.
Yeah. And they say New Jersey is not going to be I mean, of course it's a neutral court, but they're not saying it's going to be like, Eileen Cannon.
No, the court in Trenton in New Jersey, they're serious as a heart attack. They hate so much that New York is the sovereign district of New York, so they really have to flex their muscles to be the Jersey boys. You know
Flex
what I mean?
all over Trump. Go ahead. Flex all over him. Yeah,
right.
Good.
But they and Fani Willis is state.
She's
right.
State.
She's not
state.
federal.
She's not federal.
And so, yeah, I think Jack really gets to call the tune there. But I think he wants to go quick enough so that he doesn't halt her deadline of August, because she is so constrained with when she can bring out charges because of her connection with the grand jury, the way the laws are in Georgia.
Right.
So I think they're going to do a dance where they weave in. He does his call. He starts a little bit of his stuff. Then she does her call before Labor Day. Because that's kind of her deadline. Her Labor Day, I think, is deadline.
I agree.
So is Washington, D.C., is that going to be a federal thing, or is that going to be?
Yeah, that's the Jan 6th. That's the Jan 6th.
Okay. All right. Right.
So I think Smith is going to do another round of indictments for Trump and then for some others. The net's going to be a little wider this time. And then I feel like then Fani is going to do a round of indictments. And I think her net is going to be very wide. Huge. I think she's going to cast a very wide net. And then I think Jack Smith comes back after Fani. He comes back maybe in September, maybe as late as November, with another set of convictions. But it's those later in the year convictions that I feel like are going to encompass these Congress people. That's what I think.
Yes, I think.
Well, right. That's what it's coming down to. That's what he's working up to, is bringing on all these Congress people, because if you notice, I mean, a lot of them are just getting so quiet now. They're getting, but on the other hand, they're still supporting Trump. I'm thinking, what are you thinking? All you guys are just screwing yourselves. I mean, it just makes it worse and worse.
We should read on that. We should read on why are they really?
I think that they're just going to dump so much that they can on Rudy Giuliani, because he's a nobody. He's really a nobody. He's not a congressman. He's not a senator. He's not involved that way. And I think they're just going to dump a bunch of stuff on him. And he's just so goofy. Who knows what he could say? He's just off the wall. He could say anything.
He's the one who said, what was it, 2 years ago? Oh, I'm not worried. I have insurance. So you know that he does not now, because of that statement, he doesn't have anybody in his corner, because they're all saying, F you, Rudy, you got insurance on me? Yeah, fine. Throw you to the dogs. They don't care about him. He's not an elected official. He's a bad attorney who's already lost his license in at least one statement. I would not want to be in his position. He just is on an island. He's all by himself, and he's drinking too much. He's going down the toilet with his alcoholism. Could they even use, if he flips, could they even use what he says? I don't think so. I think
that's why Rudy will just play with them
That
and just say strange and goofy things, and they'll be like, "Wait a minute, what?" And then maybe backtrack. I mean, he'll just do all kinds of strange things to get out of this. But
I could see him wangling his way into some sort of a plea deal where he gets certain things lessened, certain charges lessened on him. And then when he actually comes out with all of his info, they go, oh, no, we can't do that. I can see him stepping on his own toes because his brain is really twisted. And he thinks he thinks he's this great legal mind, right? But I think that he's drunk his own Kool-Aid. I think.
Yeah.
I don't think he really is. God, I would hate to.
But of all the people, he's the easiest one to say, "Go ahead, put him in jail."
Well, I do see him in jail. I see Rudy in jail, like literally behind bars in jail. And I do agree with you that I think that he says, hey, I have this information. They're like, yeah, we don't really need that. We've got these more credible witnesses like Eastman to handle that. But thanks. So yeah, I do see Rudy going down. I see him in jail, and I don't see a lot of these people in jail. I see them being indicted. I see them being convicted. I see them doing house arrest. I see them doing some sort of thing, but I don't see a lot of them in jail, unfortunately.
But are some of the people that are in Congress that are in trouble on this, are they going to end up losing their positions in Congress?
Yes. And I the guides have told me that for over 6 months.
Wow.
Some of them are going to step down. Some of them are going to be forced to step down. Some of them are going to wait until, so you can be indicted and still serve.
Mm-hmm.
So, but once you're convicted, they can come on that House floor and drag you out, or you get arrested at your court date, right? So, however it is, the question is, in my mind, how many? Like I was on with Kevin Loving Vibrations, and he was being pretty bullish, and he said he saw like 20 people. I kind of see 6 to 8 people being, removed from Congress one way or the other. But I'll take 20. And his 20 might have been like, not only, so to me, there's 2 parts to this. The part in the spring is where they get the indictments, and some of the party might say, you've got to step down because we don't want to run in 24 with you being an indicted member. So they'll force them to step down, right? So we're gonna gain a few seats in the early spring, early summer of next year, and then we're gonna gain more seats at the actual election.
That could be, but I think I'm leaning towards what Kevin is saying. I think I'm seeing like 15, 20 people. And total? I think, and I think that would go.
I'm happy to go on I'm happy to go with your estimation.
Right? Yeah. I don't think that will only be congressional people. That might include people like Mark Meadows and some other people who work.
I'm talking about seats.
But just seats. I would say at least 12. At least 12. Because I'm going back to what I saw years and years ago, that Congress is going to really be depleted of seats and have a hard time, because there's going to be so many special elections and seats that are filled with appointments and this and that. It's just going to be bad. It's just going to be bad.
How difficult is it to remove somebody from Congress?
Well, pretty difficult. I mean, look at George Santos. I mean, he's outright, not quite convicted of felonies, and they can't remove him, or they won't
want to remove him. They don't want to.
Right. They don't want to, because they need this. They need the vote.
They need the vote.
But see, some of these people are going to step down because they don't want the heat.
Right.
They want to kind of deal with this. And the Republican Party isn't going to want the heat either. So that's why I think some of them, but some people like MTG and Bobert, you know, they're going to stay until the bitter end. I mean, they're going to make them be drug off in handcuffs. You know what I mean? They're not going to step down. They're not going to make it easy.
Right. Right.
Well, and that's the ones we want to get rid of as soon as possible.
I know. I know.
They're just crazy. But then you've also got this Republican Supreme Court. I mean, something's got to change there too. Right now, the Republicans are just sitting back, loving everything the court's doing, every single thing, and it's just a matter of time. I mean, this whole ridiculous thing about the woman that didn't want to make a website for a gay couple. What a stupid thing to end up in the Supreme Court.
But did you hear what happened? So the woman who has the website business, she said, this guy asked me to make this website for this gay wedding. And that was the premise that they took to the Supreme Court. It turns out the guy that she says asked her to make the website, he's like, I didn't ask her to do anything. I'm not gay. I didn't ask her to do anything.
I'll do you one better. Not only is he not gay, he himself is a web designer. Why the hell would he ask somebody in wherever she is, Arizona, when he's a web designer himself in California?
And I can do you one better. And I can do you one better than that. He's a web designer, drum roll please, who was working on Hillary Clinton's campaign in 2016. They picked a straight dude who was working for Hillary Clinton's campaign, used his name as the fake guy asking for this service. And he's like, look, I support gay and lesbian. Like, I'm a total supporter. I'm just not gay. I mean, you know, he's like, nobody was more shocked. One of the reporters called him and said, what do you think about this? He's like, what? Well, your name is on this. And he's like, what? You know, so here you have the Supreme Court ruled on a case that isn't even real. Now, the Republicans are trying to say that this can be done. There's a particular way that law can be practiced like this, but the legal scholars are saying no. They're saying no. And I heard legal scholars say Colorado, the original place where this started, should go back to the Supreme Court and say, my bad, this case is not worthy of going to the Supreme Court, and should petition the Supreme Court to nullify their ruling.
Well,
absolutely. Listen, never should have gone there.
They may not have to, because John Roberts, I just saw briefly something coming out in the New York Times that John Roberts is incensed that it turns out that this was not real, that he apparently was, I don't know, didn't read it or didn't know, or the papers were misleading or the papers were lying or whatever, but he may open it up himself because he's tired of everybody thinking that the court is a joke.
Well, it's a kangaroo court. It is, and it is a joke. We think it's a joke because it is a joke, Justice Roberts.
And then it's the highest court in the land. The highest court in the land screws up like this. Oh my God. That's just what I thought they were doing. Is I thought they were just slipping this thing in because I thought, well, how stupid. Why would the Supreme Court waste their time on something like this? And so I thought that they were trying to get to a point where they bring up this one little thing about gay stuff, and then little by little, they're going to try to take all the gay rights away, all the marriage rights away for gay couples.
Well, they did. That is what they're trying to do. But they did it as they do everything. They lie, and they're underhanded, and they're not truthful.
So are we going to get some of these judges off the Supreme Court?
Oh, let's hope. Let's hope.
Oh yeah, I've been saying it. I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but I'll tell you this, guys, that Tucker Carlson disappeared overnight. You know, SCOTUS, Kennedy stepped down. Nobody knows why. These things can happen. You can't tell me they're not going to happen. You can't tell me it never happens, because it did. Therefore, I can see Thomas stepping down or being removed. I can see Alito. I can see Roberts stepping down. Mm-hmm. I could see at least 4 SCOTUS is stepping down. Now the question is the timing, right? The question is the timing. And you know what? I really had to have a conversation with Biden's energy today, because I was like, why don't you expand the court, right? Like, what is wrong with expanding the court? We have 11 district courts. We should have 11 at least Supreme Court justices to match up with that. It doesn't make any sense. So really what Biden's energy finally told me was he doesn't want to just expand the court, because then that's ostensibly rubber stamping these terrible judges. He wants to deal with the judges. He wants them to be held to account. He doesn't want to expand the court to just, it's kind of like putting those judges under the rug. So he wants Congress to deal with them, or somebody somehow that they step down, that they are removed. And as you guys said, if you guys think we're going to get 12 new Congress, we're going to get 12 new seats. My question to you guys is, are we going to have a supermajority? If we have a supermajority, then yeah, we can impeach these justices.
Yes, I think we will. I think that's what I've always felt.
When will it
well,
be?
That would be next year. That would be next year.
And I think it's going to cause just a havoc in 2024 as far as elections goes, because a lot of these people, well, not a lot, but some of those people surely are up for re-election in 24. Some of them are not up for election. If they're senators, they have a 6-year term, so they may not be up for quite a while. If they're House of Representatives, they're up every 2 years, so they're up for re-election. And so it's just going to be a chaotic situation with so many people either leaving or being asked to leave or forced to leave, or whatever. So a little bit depends on how quickly they respond to the indictments from Jack Smith for January 6th. But going back to SCOTUS, or you had something to say? Go ahead.
Well, there's just the thing with Biden. I mean, he is so disgusted with all these, like the paying off student loans. What was the other thing about
affirmative action?
Affirmative action. Thank you. Yes, the affirmative action. Please, what are we doing? I mean, they're just stepping back into the 50s. It's just crazy to do all this.
Well, but the media is roasting Clarence Thomas. I mean, you cannot click on anything in YouTube without seeing another documentary about how he pulled the ladder up behind him, how he benefited from affirmative action, how he's the most ashamed Black man in America. I mean, it's just all over the place. So they're roasting him.
But they don't care. You guys, it's true. They don't care. It's like Marina said when I did the live with her, it's like SCOTUS is saying, screw you, and giving the middle finger to America and saying, eat cake. We don't care. Like, it's almost like they're owning their own terrible, unethical, judged attitudes and rulings. It's like they just don't care. It's like they don't care if they don't have any clothes. So the emperor doesn't have any clothes. I don't need clothes. Right. Exactly. I'm the all power. That's why I think it's really throwing it in our face.
Yeah. Well, and that's how they feel too. We can do it. What are you going to do about it? Nah.
Which also shows just how tightly they are connected to the Republican Party, because that's what the Republican MAGAs are doing exactly too.
That's right.
But I think here's the problem. There is no criminal or legislative instrument to prosecute a Supreme Court justice for breaking their own rules.
That's true.
They barely even share with us what the rules are. You have to go digging for that. But when they break their rules, they ran their own investigation on who leaked Alito's papers. Hello, you run your own investigation? They queried and kind of torture questioned the staff. They didn't even ask each other.
No,
nobody
they didn't.
Nobody asked the justices or their secretaries or anything. It was just like the cleaning people. Like, what? Yeah. Like, what kind of investigation is that? So this is the problem, is that they have to invent some way to prosecute them. That's, I mean, without shame, without them.
I think they broke laws. I think they broke criminal laws. The question here is, does the DOJ have the ovaries or the cojones, you know, to really investigate a Supreme Court judge. And I think they do, because I think Biden is some kind of mad. He's furious. He's furious. And I know everybody says separation of state, separation of powers. Biden's not supposed to call up the DOJ. I don't care what y'all say. Energetically, Biden is calling up the DOJ and going, you better do something about this. And he's calling up Nancy Pelosi and Jeffries and the people in the Senate and going, you better do something about this. I'm going to bring this. You need to bring me this. He's as mad about SCOTUS as he is about Ukraine.
Yeah.
He is literally like just crazy mad.
Well, I'm telling you.
Obviously, the Supreme Court judges have become the Republican Supreme Court judges, and that was never, ever, ever supposed to happen.
No.
And so, yeah, I mean, it's just, but I just love what you guys told me about the website thing, and that it was a total hoax, and it makes the court just look so stupid. So yeah, somebody is going to step back and go, wait a minute, what the hell is going on?
But you know what?
The first possibly happen.
The first story that when I heard the reporter who talked to the guy, Stewart, I think his name is, that's where I picked up that she said, you know, he's a web designer himself. And after that, every time they replayed the story, they left that part out. And I'm thinking, oh, that's interesting. What are they going to leave out next? And what are they going to leave out next? But then I saw the thing from the New York Times that Roberts is fit to be tied, that it's all a fake scenario. So maybe that one, maybe this SCOTUS will look at that. But I'm going to throw on SCOTUS and what's going to happen there.
And the thing they left out is I saw a direct statement from this guy that they've maligned, saying that he was a part of this case and he wasn't. And the very last thing in the article said, the funny thing about it, he said, I can't really laugh about this because it's terrible, but it is funny because I'm a web designer and I was working on Hillary Clinton's campaign. I mean, that's a big thing they left out, right? I mean, that's another in 2016. So you got to wonder if she just picked him because he's a web designer and he's a competitor and he's a Democrat, or he supported Hillary. She picked him for that reason. I'll drag him through we'll use him. You know, they're so imaginative, aren't they? These people, like, let me look around. Instead of making up a name, they pick a real guy who's married, who's not gay, who is a Democrat. You know what I mean? It's like, y'all are brilliant, aren't you?
They're
totally
really
brilliant.
Dumb.
So this whole thing about the website and that she didn't want to make it because it went against her Christian beliefs, it's all BS. Is that
all BS?
It's made up.
Well,
so embarrassing for the court.
It may be true that she's a Christian, but I don't think anything else about it is true.
And so there is this law, this kind of law that you can practice where you're ruling on a concept. Okay, but that's what the Republicans are trying to say. But according to legal scholars in front of the Supreme Court, that is not acceptable. It's Article 3 something. It's not. There has to be a real plaintiff, not a fake plaintiff, a real plaintiff.
Yeah.
This case should be nullified.
Yeah, it should be. It should not go down as precedent in the law books at all.
Right.
Okay, so my cards were pretty bad for the Supreme Court. They come up as the devil.
Okay,
So
that's about right.
Pretty soon, people are going to be noticing that, you know, that's just not true. And then we get the high priestess. Yeah, they're hiding everything behind those robes. Everything is being hidden. And the high priestess, though, very often will say, yes, this is hidden now, but this knowledge is going to be seen later.
Oh,
This knowledge is going to come out. We got a lawsuit. We do have a law action here, the Ace of Wands or Ace of Swords. There we go. It's not Blair. So a lawsuit. And then we have America, the Empress. Yay. America comes forward and says, I want this to happen for me. And it's going to be a little bit tough and tricky because we've never done it before. And the way I always read the strength card is it's bringing forward something you didn't even know you had the ability to do. That's how strong you are. And so that's how strong I think the United States is. I think they are going to prosecute some of those justices for breaking the law. I think they will. I really think they will. Okay, that's what I have to say.
Well,
I love that.
Yeah, I love it too.
Yeah. All right. What's next, ladies? Do we have any start thing? Yeah, I start a few things. Let's see.
Oh yeah, there's a lot. People are hitting the question. The comments is lit up like it's tilting on a pinball machine.
So, I wish you guys could see this. Neither one of you guys can see my starred things, or can you?
Oh, I can see them. I can see them.
All right. So I think that I missed some of the newest ones. Let me go down here.
Thank you, Marie Olga, for the super sticker.
Yeah. Any hits on the SCOTUS judges impeached, removed? We said who we thought was going to be removed. Let's see. Okay, let's do this one. What does it look like for George Santos? Bad. Just like we said, he is going to be extradited to Brazil at some point, and they've got something like 80 charges against him, and it's all documented. That was another headline that I saw today or yesterday. It's like the guy is going down. But let's I'll throw a few cards. You guys can, let everybody know what you guys are getting.
What are you getting? I'm getting the obvious. I mean, yeah, this guy is a complete idiot. I can't figure out how he got into the position he's in the first place. And he's a liar, and he keeps saying that he's got all this proof to back it up. No, he's going to go into court. He's going to be in big trouble, and that's going to be the end of it.
Yeah. It's just the wheels of justice move slow, guys. It is what it is. We're supposed to give people time to get their own attorney and to get discovery, to learn what the judge or what the prosecutors have against you. I kind of feel like something speeds up with him and then it stops. Like everything speeds up and then there's like a pause, but I'm not sure why. But he'll be out of there. He'll be out before you know it.
Well, and his whole claim to fame is being a complete idiot and a liar. And I mean, it's not that he's ever done anything, that he's ever helped the country in any way, that his input has helped anything. He hasn't helped anything. He's just been a problem from the moment he came into his position. What is he, a representative or a?
Yeah, representative. Yeah. Well, okay. He's a hell of a grifter. I'll tell you that. Donald Trump ought to employ him for some of his fundraising. So what I get for him is, he's hanging on to his papers and all of his proof for dear life. He's going to have a tower moment very soon here. He's going to try to change his persona yet again. He's going to try to get the American public to believe that he's something else. And then he's going to go away. And then he'll get extradited. And then he's going to find some new talents that he never thought he had. I'll just leave it right there on that one.
Wow. Okay. Having to do with prison. Maybe he'll, have you guys seen all those videos where they make prison food? They make ice cream out of coffee creamer and stuff like that. Maybe he'll be a good prison food maker. Yeah. Among other things.
I'm sure that was on his bucket list,
He'll be really good at it.
All right, let's see what else we got in here. This is fun. Oh, boy. Okay, this is kind of long, but let's see here. So this says, do you think a whistleblower will come out as a witness to Trump's show of classified documents to the selected members who were grifted for money for the private showing and for Humpty's ego? I'm not quite sure I'm following all of this, but I think what she's asking is, will the people who were taken advantage of, will there be any whistleblowers among them? Do I have that right? It's in the music, Diana? I don't know, but we could read on that. I'm going to hide your message just because it's covering up Susan's face.
Well, first of all, we could just say, is there going to be a whistleblower, right? We could just break that question down and say, is there going to be a whistleblower?
Yeah.
And what impact is the whistleblower going to have on the documents? Now, I just got out of nowhere, because I've never gotten this before. God knows I ask these questions 100 times a day. I just think they stopped answering the phone when I call. But anyway, I just got Ivana's grave. Maybe there's going to be a whistleblower about something to do with that.
Oh, that would be fascinating.
That would be fascinating. Almost as fascinating as a fake case going before the Supreme Court.
Yes,
Yeah, really.
almost.
Why
as
not at this
fascinating.
point? Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Literally anything. So what do you guys get? What do you get, Cleo? You get something with a
I
whistleblower?
don't know about the term whistleblower, but I mean, half the people that are being indicted or not indicted, but being brought in as witnesses for Jack Smith.
That's true.
Trust me, they are singing like a bird. They're not going to go down for any of this. If there's some way to get out of it, if there's some information they can provide, that's what they're going to do. So you could call it a whistleblower, but really it's just to save their own hide. But they'll probably be telling the truth. So it will look like a whistleblower thing, but it's just the truth. Because
so I feel like there's an external whistleblower. So look at that, Cleo. Do you see an external, like out of the blue? Not Walt Malta, not anybody that could be flipped. Somebody that we're not aware of who comes forward and says, I've been holding back. I know something.
You know what? Yeah, I do get that could happen.
Yeah, somebody from.
I haven't thought about that before. It's all brand new to me, but yeah, I could see something like that happening. Mm-hmm. But is it really going to be necessary, or is it going to be something that just tips the scale?
I think it's going to be big. I think it's going to be like that little, when you're putting together the puzzle and you can't, you're missing, and you're like, where did it go? Is it under the couch? I can't get the whole picture. It's going to be one of those puzzle pieces that's going to help solve that part of the puzzle. I think it's big. I think it's big. Now, do you guys, what are you getting? Tell me, Colleen, what are you getting?
So I'm getting that this is a person that really felt like they put a lot of effort into supporting Mr. Trump or the president or however they refer to them, really worked hard. They revered him. They thought he was so cool. He could do no wrong. But then they realized that he was a grifter. And he was just taking advantage of everybody and taking their money. Also, I think this person had a little crush on Ivanka, and it was not reciprocated. And I think that problem.
I think this person is a woman.
Possibly. I don't know. I'm not getting what sex they are. I'm just
when we started talking, I thought, no, this is a woman that's coming in.
I see a woman too, but they could have had a crush on Ivanka, or they could have had even just an infatuation, like, I want to be like you, I love you, I support you, but yet I was nothing to you. It's that energy, right? Like, I did everything for you guys and you treated me like I was nothing.
Right.
I'm going to come back around and I'm going to teach you I'm something.
Yes. And what they were witness to in New Jersey, in Bedminster, is the reason Ivanka, I think, comes up is because Ivanka was supposed to be the executor of her mother's estate and also to say where her mother would be buried. I don't think Ivanka had it in her papers. She wanted to be married on some GD golf course in New Jersey. That
Trump
was
golf course, no less.
Trump, she wouldn't want to be there. So somehow Ivanka was overridden in that regard. And this person thought, no, this is not right. It just isn't. And then they got mad at Ivanka. So now no holds barred. Now secrets coming out.
That's right. Yeah, there's that sense
Ivanka be the whistleblower.
It's not Ivanka. It's somebody. It's
not Ivanka.
It's somebody else. I do feel like it's a woman. I do feel like it's somebody. It's just like what you're saying, Colleen. They worshipped them. They thought these people are bigger than life, and I'm bigger than life because of my association. And they really thought that person, Ivanka and/or maybe Trump, they really thought that they cared for them.
Yes.
They really believed. They believed it. And now they're seeing how Trump and Ivanka are turning on Walt, are turning on all these other people, and they're starting to realize, wait a minute, they're going to turn on me too. They don't love me. And before they get turned on, before they get thrown under the bus, they're realizing I need to get on the other side of this and throw them under the bus. It's really some
So is this person a person that has a little bit of power? Is it like an attorney or a politician or no?
No, this could even just be an employee of theirs. That's because I'm thinking that the properties of Trump have been doing so poorly routinely ever since he got into the White House that probably this person was let go shortly after Ivanka passed.
Could
be. And there's also, bitterness about that.
Yes. Summarily dismissed.
Yep.
And wait a minute. I thought we had a thing. I thought you really valued me, and I told everybody that you really valued me, but no, I've been cast. It's that energy of having been cast away. Now I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna get you back. I agree. Yeah. To me, it's like a female, like an assistant, a valet, a personal assistant, somebody like that.
Yep. That's what I got. And this is the only power they have. They feel very powerless and like they really have their power.
Knowledge. They have certain knowledge that the Trumps wouldn't want this person to divulge. Right. So does this person go to Jack Smith? Where does this person go?
She went to the DOJ. She didn't.
She would go to the DOJ.
I think she went to the FBI. I think she called in the tip line to the FBI, and I think they sort of worked with her, and now they've brought her on board. Because as a whistleblower, you can be anonymous, right? So it's that whistleblower anonymous. But I feel like Colleen has got this energy nailed. Like now she's got an axe to grind. Now she's like, forget being anonymous. I want to see them in the courtroom. I want them to see my face. I want to be on the witness stand. I want them to know they should have never dissed me. It's this disrespect, this disgrace. Oh, they're mad. They're big.
They're really mad. But Jack's going to be very careful with them because if they found out this person's name, if they were an employee, they know where they live. They know all of their information. So they're going to have to stay protected and anonymous until they actually go to court. So, but I think that's definitely there's a whistleblower there. Yeah.
A new one, a new version.
It feels that way.
Wow.
But it's all new to me, so I got to kind of digest this information.
Well, this is all new to me. This is something you asked the question, and for the first time they told me. I don't know why, but anyway, it is what it is. You get the information when you get it.
Now, Susan, we're coming up on an hour here. It's about 8 minutes to. Do you want to do one more? Or
I can go just a little bit past the hour. It's still light out. I just need to. I just need to. It's crazy. It's a silly thing, but I've got to walk my dog before it gets dark. And
that's not crazy.
I was so busy today. She hasn't been out this afternoon.
Poor thing.
So yeah. So
okay, let me see here.
We can do a few more. This is fascinating. It really is fascinating. It's always fun to read with you guys. I really appreciate it.
Oh, we're nuts.
No, it's a good conversation.
I want to put this one up, but I don't understand it yet. I'll put it up and maybe you guys can help me. Prosecutors are prepared to seek indictments against multiple figures in Trump's orbit and may yet bring more charges against the ex-president in the coming weeks. How many and who? Maybe if I change this arrangement, it'll be.
I get it. I get what they're saying.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying to get Can I move Susan around? There we go.
No, now we can't see you. It's okay.
Yeah, you'll see me later. It's fine.
Yeah, that's good. We don't need to see you.
Fine. They don't need to see my black cheeks out there. That's fine.
I don't know why these things are so big. But, so the question is basically what charges are coming? What charges are coming and who, like Eastman, Meadows.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's like we need a big wheel with everybody's name around it. That's what I'm going to have to make. Spin the wheel. And it's
or a big butcher paper in the back where you just go back and you're like, here, this person, you know what I mean? Like, this is where it's going to come. This is what's going to come down to. And we'll circle their names and put the dates they got indicted.
You know, I see dozens of indictments, dozens and dozens of indictments, a lot of indictments.
I do
He's
too.
just trying to decide, does he need that? Is that going to really be the thing that pushes this over? Or is he just going to throw it on there because it's going to irritate Canon? I mean, it just, you know,
but there's going to be 3 or 4 more court cases. So Canon is just one player. And there's a reason for that, right? I feel like also he's using Canon, that the case with Canon, he's trying to flip Walt Nauta. And I feel like Walt Nauta is the only other person. Trump and Walt is it. Those are the 2 people on that court case out of all the people. So he really is putting this pressure on Walt Nauta. It feels like a oyster shell where he's trying to like flip it open, but he can't quite open it because Walt is one of those people like Colleen was talking about. I know you really care about me. I know that you care about my family. I know that this isn't you're not grifting me. You really care about me. These people are going to find out that he doesn't care about any of them.
No. And also, well, all the other attorneys too, the ones that have come and gone.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're all going to go
ones
down
that
too.
were making the calls, and they're all, you know, that's making the calls for the to change the voting thing, not for the documents, but for the January 6th stuff. But yeah, I mean,
you got to know too that Jack Smith is just letting the Eileen Cannon case roll out and roll on because it's sucking all the oxygen out of the room. It is taking all the focus away from the other stuff that he's doing. So Trump is all rah, rah, Jack Smith, rah. And then in the meantime, there's like 46 other indictments waiting for him in 2 different venues.
Trump keeps saying these stupid things, and Jack Smith is just like, oh, let's see, I'm a deranged psycho. Okay, let's see, what did you say in your last little rally? And he's writing all this stuff down, and he's like, yeah, we don't really care about any of that, so let's just add another couple more charges to this case. But then again, he might be saying, maybe I don't want to use it on the document case. Maybe I want to use it over here on the January 6th thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, what can Georgia do to kind of, what do they need more stuff? Do they need more information?
No, she has enough for like 16 cases because
exactly, he does.
She's pulling in all the crap about other states. So all those other states could base lawsuits on her stuff. It's crazy. She's my hero. I love her.
Yeah, I agree.
Love her. So how many more indictments and who's going to get charged and that stuff? Are we talking about that? Or
I mean, that's what we're talking about. To me, it's kind of hard to sort it out. And maybe that means that they don't have it sorted out in their own minds yet. So what I would have to do is say, okay, first of all, we're talking about Jack Smith, or are we talking about Fani Willis? I would have to do that. Yeah. And then I would have to say, well, is it Jack Smith's Bedminster, or is it the January 6th? Is it the secret papers in Bedminster? You know, so I'd have to kind of figure out which case you're talking about because every case has a different group of characters.
Yeah.
When I was shuffling, I was focusing on January 6th only.
Okay.
So that would be Washington, D.C., Jack Smith, January 6th. Because I think as far as players that we know the names of, I think that's the best pool to hit.
Okay.
Because we know those people. So what I got here for January 6th, I love this. It's the Wheel of Fortune.
Nice.
So just spin it, what we were just talking about. Just spin that wheel and take a number, and you too can get an indictment. I mean, Jack is working really hard on this, and one thing that's really kind of disgusting him is that all of these people are equally bad, equally guilty, equally just like not in touch with reality. And they're all not just involved with Trump, but they're all involved with they're all their own little narcissistic circus. You know, each one of them is a little narcissist with his little spinning people helping him, you know. There will be a lot of plea bargaining. There will be a lot of people who are trying to make plea bargains with Jack. And the problem is it's too late. the time to do the plea bargaining was when we first started this, folks, not when you're getting the indictment. When you hear about it, that's the time to come forward. And there will be just a couple that have already come forward.
Could those be pardons? Could those also be pardons that we don't know about?
They could be. They could be. I was focusing more on not what Trump has given out, but what Jack knows about. But yeah, he could be looking at these people. And I think, like I said, as he is coming up with this stuff, these people have been called in to talk. And that was the time for them to say, oh, I can give you more information. Could we talk about a plea deal?
No. Yeah, I agree with you.
And none of them did that. So yeah, 16, 20, 25, 30, 35. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of people, because think of how big that orbit is. I mean, once you started looking at just the group at the Willard Hotel, that was like, what, 15, 20 people at the Willard Hotel. And not all of them were in person. Then another group was remote, remember? Because it was COVID times. And then, cuckoo, just cuckoo. What do you guys think?
I agree. And I would also say that are you noticing that your chat isn't moving on StreamYard? It wasn't moving for a while. It might be moving now, but it was stuck. Thank you, Marie Olga, for that super chat. Thank you, Marby, for that super chat. It was stuck, and now it's working. So anyway, what do you think, Cleo?
Well, I'm thinking, when we're talking about all these Congress people, just how involved were they with the January 6th? How involved were they with the documents? Were they people that were calling up governors too? I mean, all these people that got involved backing up Trump and acting like it was okay to do this, they all of them. I mean, and there's so many of them. It'd be hard to pick a number to say who's going to get indicted. But yeah, no, there's just too many people, and they just went and followed Trump blindly, and they still do. That's the problem.
Well, that's because they believe in it. They're racist, fascist people. I mean, they believe in what he believes. So what about, let's ask some specific questions. What about MTG? Do you guys see Marjorie Taylor Greene getting removed from Congress?
I do. Yes, I definitely do. But I don't know exactly how they're going to get around to it. They need to get her out of there. Even the Republicans are like, ooh, we either quiet her down and put her in the corner, or get her out altogether. And they can't put her in the corner.
She just can't put her in the corner. She won't go in the corner. She goes into the skiff and brings out top secret information and tells the public about it. I mean, come on. That's insane, right?
Is that against the law? Could they arrest her?
Why isn't she being charged? This is what I'm saying. The DOJ is going to have to look around and figure out where they put their ovaries and their cojones and get them back, because maybe they sold them to pay off their student loans. I don't know, but they're going to have to do something. This is ridiculous, right? So MTG, I feel like she's going to go down. I see Boebert going down. I see Jim Jordan going down. I see Holly going down. Oh, and here's another little wonderful thing. Holly's wife is a judge, and she's one of the judges that did the whole thing with the fake case. He went on Twitter and said, "Congratulations to my wife for winning this case."
Oh, these people,
you can't get it any deeper. They're in there with their shovel digging their own.
I just hope they keep all the sharp knives away from all of those Republicans, because they're just too stupid. They're just too stupid. Oh my God.
It's you can't make it up. You know what it is? It's not stupid. It's this sense of untouchable.
Yeah.
I'm untouchable. I can do anything.
Yep.
It's sad, but it's true. See, I don't know if you know it,
Lindsey Graham is still coming out saying, well, did you see the thing about him going to the rally and he got booed? And
he got booed off the stage.
And what did he say? He said, well, now just wait a minute. I mean, I'm here because Donald Trump's going to be our next president. I'm thinking, oh God, how lame. How lame. Why would
They
you
don't
say that?
even care. They don't. These people are not going to vote. They're getting tired of all of this. They're tired of it.
Yeah, the drama is it's just exhausting. And yeah, that's not what the American people are interested in.
Okay, my pendulum says MTG will be removed sometime between Labor Day and the end of the year. That's when she's going to be removed. Yep.
Oh, amazing. That would be great.
Wouldn't it? Yeah.
Much sooner than I thought.
She's a real linchpin. She's really, without her, you lose a lot of that hot air energy of just, raising a ruckus all the time. Because Boebert by herself Boebert is still trying to pretend like she really is a congressperson, like she really knows what she's doing, and she really doesn't.
No, she's
really bad, really, really bad. And Jim Jordan is going to go down with that case that's coming out, from I think it's like 10, 15 years ago. This stuff happened.
Yeah.
I've always just wondered to myself, when is that going to start showing up on the docket? And it's finally showing up. Matt Gaetz, I don't know. I guess he skated on his Florida charges.
No, he's going to get it. He's going to go. He's going.
Yeah. But all those other buffoons, they're gonna probably get wrapped up in the January 6th.
They really are, guys. Yeah. It's a big net. So they're saying in chat, and I know you guys can't see it because on our StreamYard, we're watching this on StreamYard, not on YouTube. We're not seeing your chat, I can promise you. So it's in the music. Diana said twice, I dreamt before Mar-a-Lago Caesar that I was in a small room, 10 others while Trump displayed documents. He had military pins on his lapel. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. It's in the music, Diana. But she followed that up with, I think the whistleblower is someone who was in that small gathering. Please see earlier donation dream description. Yes, that's what we're talking about. It's somebody who had access to very sensitive meetings, but wasn't a part of the meetings. In other words, not important enough to be talking in the meeting, but someone who brings the Diet Coke and the cheeseburger, but could hear all of that stuff. Yeah. So that's interesting that you saw it in the Willard. Could very well be someone that was in the Willard. It was someone who, again, like a personal attaché. I think that's like a personal assistant, right?
Right.
I just bring it up because everybody in the chat that you can actually see what you guys are saying. People were saying I didn't see it. Well, that's because we can't see the chat in StreamYard for some reason.
It's so stuck. Sorry.
It's stuck. So the last chat you see in StreamYard is 622.
Oh no, I see some new ones now.
Okay.
They just were very slow getting there.
Okay, because the last one I see is 622. I don't see anything more recent than that.
Okay.
So I open up the thing on YouTube and I can see it.
Yeah. Okay. So here we go. Connie B has the answer.
It may well be. It may well be.
You're probably right, Connie B.
It very well may be.
Oh boy. Well, God.
But it's really somebody like Colleen. Colleen tapped right into the energy. It's somebody who was an assistant and who felt like they were really family. You know what I mean? Like they're not right in their head, clearly, but they, for whatever reason, they really felt like they were valued. And now they've been summarily dismissed and they got an axe to grind and they're going to do it.
That's right. And just think about in the way that the Trump and all of his cohorts have conducted themselves over the last 6 years, how many other people may feel that way. I mean, Jack
that is
have a line out his door.
That kind of person can be so dangerous because they will never suspect that he or she is going to be looking around because they're taking it personally and they're hurt.
Yeah.
They're hurt and they're going to get revenge.
Yeah.
Hey, Marina. Good to see you.
They are. They're going to get revenge.
Thanks, all the mods.
I missed Marina. Hi, Marina.
Wow.
I had the most fun show with her on Friday night. It was just a gas.
I know, right? I had fun with her too just this last.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really fun. I had said before the show, I'm just going to open up a few charts in case we want to talk about some people. And we just talked about the charts the whole time.
Oh, nice. That's fun, though.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's helpful.
Really fun. Yeah, it was fun. So, oh boy. Oh, all right. Well, do we see, Susan, do you see anything else in the YouTube chat?
Let's see if we can do one more good question. Anybody have a big, I feel like we kind of did a big reveal because this whole whistleblower thing was a big deal that I didn't see coming. And I think that's going to be a surprise witness that's going to shock Trump, like literally shock him. He has no idea this is going to happen. And it's always good to shock the person, because then they're thrown off and they don't know what else you have. Then they're like, who is this secret witness that they're going to bring forward? So it really could be something interesting.
Well, his attorneys will see it on the witness list and they may say their name, and Trump may have just like, oh, I don't even know who that is, whatever.
Oh, God, can you imagine?
And then he may see them in court and they may be all, dressed up and, and then he's still not going to understand until they start talking. Yeah.
That would be poetic justice. Who's that? I don't know who that is. Meanwhile, this person feels like their lone allegiance is to Trump and Trump has their allegiance, or Ivanka. Yes, very good. So I'll tell you, I'll ask you guys, there's he looks disheveled. Honestly, I saw a picture of him from after the rally last night. He was surrounded by 4 bimbo women, but besides that, his hair is disheveled. It's not combed, it's sticking up. There's this picture going around Twitter where you can literally see his huge bald spot. You can see it clearly through his 5 strands of hair. He took so much care. Remember, it was the tan, everything was just perfect. Now the cracks are starting to show. You can see that the stress or his mental status is slipping. What do you guys feel like that? Because I really saw that he really was going to nut out, like in public.
Well, I thought that Trump was suffering from dementia, or the beginnings of dementia, going back to his first year in office. But then I've been watching it to see how it's going to progress, and it is progressing, but it's not. People go on up to like 10 years or so having those symptoms. And I'm thinking, I wish I knew what he was like in 2015. I don't know. Did he start then? I mean, how long has he been going through this process?
He was an arrogant playboy asshole player. That's what he was.
What I'm talking about, just the stupid things he does, talking in the third person, looking around like the whole world's behind Trump for some reason.
Yeah.
And those rallies.
Person. You can look.
Pardon me?
You can look. He was a different person. He's being interviewed. He's cogent. He's able to handle a conversation. He sounds like a normal person. He's not repeating. He's not saying these kind of weird statements. He's a whole different person back in 2014, 15, 16. Imagine him on a TV show now, on that, his big show.
Apprentice.
Imagine him now. He couldn't do it.
Years ago, Cleo, he actually knew what his wife looked like. I'll just put it that way.
That's true. He couldn't pick his wife out of the picture with the E. Jean Carroll case.
Those days are gone.
Well, it's been enough years.
E. Jean Carroll was his wife.
And if you guys have been talking all along about him ending up in a hospital or some made up hospital thing that he was just going to go cuckoo. And that's kind of the way dementia works is, you notice something weird. It can go on for like 10 years. And then all of a sudden the progression, the progression just becomes instantaneous. It's just kind of like
falls off a cliff. Yeah.
That's where I think he's at. So where do you guys see that? Do you guys feel like this progression is going to speed up as we get closer to the end of this year?
Oh yeah. I think just coming up into, the stuff with the January 20th or January 6th and the Fani Willis stuff, I think between now and maybe Thanksgiving, maybe Christmas, but I think it's a shorter window. I think you'll see this unravel more and more. And I bet that they will start to have more people around him to literally hold him up, literally flank him. Because if they don't,
he is so busy believing all the nonsense and having these idiot Republicans support him, it's just going to take longer and longer for him to get the help that he needs, and they'll just ignore it in the first place. It's not that easy when somebody comes down with dementia to say, "Oh, okay, they're incompetent."
So let me give you a scenario. The guides told me, which is, what if he gets on OWN or whoever will give him airtime, and he says, yeah, I just want to say that Kim Jong-un is going to, die next week, and I think the United States is going to kill him. What if he starts saying more and more provocative things about world leaders, and all of a sudden the United States has to rest? This is a prior president. He's got some,
Well, and he's got all the confidential secret information. So
So then Biden's got to run behind and say, no, we're not trying to kill anybody. What if he starts saying nutty things like that puts the United States in some sort of
I think he's already started doing that. Didn't he say the thing about Iran and stuff and exposing all this information that we're not supposed to know about?
I think it's going to get worse.
He has danced very close to the edge of that cliff, and I think it will get worse. But I think also, fortunately, he will mix a few things up. So I think they'll get a little taste of it he'll say something, but he'll conflate what country it is or who the leader's name is. So it will be obvious that it's not quite there. But I think that will start the alarm bells ringing. And at that point, I think the CIA will have to come and take him from public view.
That's what I see.
Yeah, I think the CIA will have to sort of say, sorry, the president can't see you now. And that's what I mean by the whole flanking thing. They're going to start having people who are even closer to him than his bodyguards from the CIA now, the Secret Service rather. I think he will have people who are flanking him because they know he is so dangerous. It is an open secret that he is the most dangerous person on the planet right now.
Yes.
And so they got to protect us. They really do.
That's right.
So as far as how soon something like this could happen, it could happen.
I agree with Colleen. I see this happening before the end of the year. I see this happening. It seems like the energy just picks up very rapidly. Like you're saying, Cleo, like all of a sudden.
How fast it is moving. Yes.
Holy
year. Yeah.
So this year, by between now and the end of the year.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, and this might be a metaphor, but I saw Ivanka sort of committing him, like saying, as his daughter, I'm committing him. But I don't see him in a naval hospital or a military psych unit. I see him in Gitmo. I see him in a secure, standalone building. Not if it's on a military base, then it's its own standalone building. Like to the degree that you would put like an international terrorist that attacked the United States. That's the kind of energy it is. Yeah. But he is in this, and I've always seen him in this sort of institutional setting by himself with no visitors, no access to a phone, no access to anything. So if that's the case, ladies, if that's the case and your pendulum was swinging so much it could actually been hooked up to a windmill and generated energy, if that's the case, does that mean he doesn't stand for trial in late of 2023?
It does.
It does.
Yeah, he could. I saw a dismissal, but if he's declared incompetent,
there it is.
And how are they going to handle that? I mean, it'll have to be. Oh God! I mean, if this was to happen, it'd just be so crazy. But yes, because he might be progressing really, really fast. If you guys are telling me between now and the end of the year that it'll be exposed, that somebody's going to look at this and say, yes, this man has lost it.
Well, let's just say that if Ivanka is his power of attorney or, his executor or whatever, she's going to be a very busy person for the next 3 years because she's going to have to handle all of that shit. All of
Well,
it.
and I think she
all out.
will. And, you got to get. It's very difficult to go through this, to watch your parents go or your father go through something like this, and she will actually be doing him a favor by being the one to do that. She
Yeah.
is the closest one to him, and I think she will do it right. She would like to rid herself of it, but if he's really sick, she will definitely step up. She's not the one to sign. She's not the one that decides to commit him. That's the doctors and stuff that do that, not her.
Um,
But a family can commit a family member.
It's so tough.
It's hard. It's really hard to do that. Believe us, we tried. It's just really hard.
My dad had dementia, and there was nothing we could do. And we ended up going through a court case, and it was just craziness. And then finally, it was the doctors that said, yes, this man is incompetent. But I think if Ivanka handles all this stuff, that's a good thing that she can do that.
And he will have to be put in some sort of a very, very secure thing because there will be people on the planet who want to assassinate him.
That's
now.
right.
And you're right, Colleen, that they'll have to feed him this information implying that he's still got some power, implying that he's still the president. So when and I laughed so hard about it, but when you said they'll be wearing the bunny slippers with the national or with the state seal or the presidential seal. Yeah, I mean, I just thought that sounded crazy, but now that we're putting all the pieces together, it doesn't sound so crazy because they are going to play up to him because that's right. The only way that they're going to be able to deal with him and put him. And you're right, Susan, about you've got to shut him up because he will say stuff that half truths, and people will just fly with it. But like you said, I mean, he just. Oh God, what a mess. Oh my goodness. It's so fast though. So fast. We'll see if it happens this fast. Would just be
such a great movie. I can't wait.
Well, it solves a lot of problems. If he does this in public and everybody can come on board, right? I mean, the Republicans can come on board. This is really a national security problem. Then there's will behind that. And I'm wondering if all I know is I see Ivanka and it's almost like she's the last thing that he sees as he's taken away. And maybe it just means that she's complicit. Maybe it just means that she is like, bye, daddy. You know what I mean? She doesn't come to his aid. I don't know. But it works. It actually works. And Leavenworth. So CM. I did a video today. I'm going to put it tomorrow. But the guides told me today somebody was going to Leavenworth. And isn't that a military kind of thing?
It's a prison, isn't it?
Isn't it a military prison or something? Is that the one in Washington, Cleo?
I thought it was. There might be one in here. Yeah. It's a federal prison.
Yeah. No windows on the first floor. Only windows in the upper floors. When you drive
military prison, military max. So I got today, somebody's going to Leavenworth. It could be Rudy Giuliani. It could be.
Yeah.
I think that some of the people that end up actually going to prison is going to surprise all of us. I do
too. I think they're going to need to put a few more wings on some of those prisons because there's going to be a buttload of people going. Just a lot.
And they're going to have a lot of security because we just can't you can get burner phones in prison. We don't need these people being able to call and do whatever it is they're doing behind the scenes. So that's why it has to be a super high security prison, especially for Trump. I see the orderlies being searched in and out, metal detectors. I mean, really super high security. And I agree with you about his bunny slippers. I see him wearing pajamas with his presidential seal. We don't care. I don't care if he thinks he's still the president. I mean, whatever, right? We don't care.
Yeah. I just want to say one more thing about him going cuckoo like that is this gives the MAGAs an off-ramp with Grace.
Right. See?
It allows them to say, oh my God, the guy was nuts the whole time. I guess I'm going to have to vote for XYZ.
Yeah.
And but this is curious to me, as now we have to look at DeSantis' time frame, because we know he's not going to end up being the candidate. So how does this impact him? And now that we know that Trump's going to be contained in some way, or we hope, I mean, we could be wrong, but this is kind of what we're seeing.
Well, the timing, I think you're right, but who knows on the timing?
What's that?
Who knows on the timing?
Yeah, that's true. But if Trump does go along the timeline that we were talking about, what's going to happen to Putin? Because they're connecto,
Putin's going to go.
Or is Putin going to get a sweetheart deal himself, where he can go away from Russia so that he can just be gone?
But he's a wanted man. See, when I do that, when I take Putin and I put him in Argentina or some other place, he's a wanted man. Yep. He's made too many enemies. He's not like Netanyahu. Netanyahu disappeared, had a whole life for however many years, came back and took power again. Putin's not that person. When I see Putin, he says he's going out in a blaze of glory.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't think so. I just don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think they would let him live.
So
yeah, he's not.
Russians are a whole different breed.
He's already had a number of assassination attempts that we don't ever hear about.
True.
But I mean, somebody is going to get him. I'm just amazed that they haven't. But then you guys have also talked about him having these doubles.
Oh yeah, he does.
God, if you looked at the most recent pictures, definitely.
Yeah.
Totally different look. I mean,
even the last press conference that he did right after that mini coup, I was like, that isn't him. That's a double.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's a really good actor, this double, because he's encompassing all the disappointment and fury and everything. But it's like, and that's not him. It could not be.
What in the world was that all about? Within a 48-hour period, there's going to be this big thing happening in Moscow, and then halfway there or less, that the guy says, "Oh, okay, no, never mind. I'm going to go to a different direction and go somewhere else, and everything's fine."
Well, that's a whole other show. We can't get started down that rabbit hole.
Right.
Susan's dog is going to die because it has to pee, so we can't go down that rabbit hole.
All right.
Well, y'all can go down that rabbit hole without me. How about that?
No,
we'll
be fine.
It's a big thing. You're right. It's almost like a whole show to itself, because there's stabbing, backstabbing, double, triple crossing. There's all these things happening right now. It's not at all simple. The power plays and the CIA has got a hand in there. This country has a hand in there. Lukashenko has everybody's trying to, do something. It's mayhem.
Well, I just can't believe anything that comes out of Russia. Nothing.
No.
I can believe stuff that comes out of Ukraine. And what did they just say today? That they had killed 21,000 militia people? I'm like, oh my God, that's horrible. But I mean, they're trying to save their country.
Yeah. Yeah. The stuff with Russia we could go on all night. Well, guys, I think I'm going to call it the time here. We've been on for quite a while. Susan's dog is going to be panicked. And thank you, everybody in the chat. Sorry for the hiccups with the speed on the chat, but this is live and stuff happens. Thank you to both of you, Cleo and Susan. Thank you so much. And we'll be in touch, and maybe we can do another one soon. Thank you.
I love this.
Love to everybody.
Good to see you, Susan.
Thanks, everybody.
I always love your input.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.